Jamming out. Good morning, 97.1. Jim Costa, Jon Jansen, Heather Park, Gov and Greg behind the glass on a Tuesday. Less than an hour away from the $2 Grand Slam, a chance to win $2,000 if you can get all 10 questions right. John, the Notre Dame story really picked up steam yesterday, and you read more and listened to more, and you got more and more worked up.
I did, and, I understand that my perspective, and I think Tom's growing up as well, and a lot of other people that you're hearing talk about is that our experience is, hey, New Year's Day was an epic day on the calendar because it was the Rose Bowl. It was bowl season. And before there was a college football playoff, before there was BCS, like all those bowls meant something. And I think everybody's going to have a different take on some of this. I don't have an issue anymore with players. I mean, I do, but I accept that is the path that college football has chosen. And now we're going down the path of 9 schools have opted out. In fact, some schools that weren't even bowl eligible because other schools have opted out have been offered an opportunity, and they've opted out. Kansas State and there a couple in the Big 12 opted out. They were appropriately fined by their conference because of the bowl agreements that they were supposed to fulfill. They didn't. They get fined. Okay. Notre Dame doesn't have to pay a fine because they're an independent. They get to do what they want. We don't have auto bids from the Big Ten and the SEC. That was the big conversation going into the season. Yet now we find out that there's a memorandum of understanding that next year, if Notre Dame is ranked in the top 12, that they get an auto bid into the college football playoffs. A lot of these things are what irritates people about what makes Notre Dame, quote unquote, special. And this is, to me, isn't an issue about Notre Dame being special, not being in a conference. It's not an issue about that. Mine is the fact that there is a major issue with leadership from the NCAA, which is absolutely gutless, to administrators, to coaches, because no one wants to stand up and lead. No one wants to piss off their high-priced quarterback or their running back or their edge defender because, we're going to make you do what you don't want to do. And that's actually play football. And I was fine, and I got over everything yesterday until I read one simple quote, and it's a paragraph. Bavacqua, the Notre Dame athletic director, said Notre Dame coach Marcus Freeman talked to his team captains after the CFP snub about other bowl opportunities. The captains told Freeman they knew a number of players with NFL draft potential would opt out and didn't want to play a game with a dramatically different roster. It just wouldn't be the same, quoted Bavacqua. Are we now in a position where the players, all the power has shifted to the players? They are telling the coach what they want to do. Are they going to tell the coach, we don't want to practice today? We don't want to play in the bowl game? We don't want to do these things? And Marcus Freeman, hey, you can listen to your captains. You should listen to your captains. They were elected. I don't know how they do it at Notre Dame, but they should be elected by the team to represent them. The captains say we don't want to play because it's not going to be the same team. Well, the response should be, I appreciate your concerns. I'll take them into consideration, but I also want you to go back and think about a couple of things before we make this program decision. And that is, I want you to go and talk to every senior that isn't an NFL draft prospect. I want you to talk to every guy that's going to be playing their very last game in the Notre Dame uniform, in the golden, mystique-filled helmet that some of them have grown up since the age of 2 dreaming of wearing. They're living that dream, and now all of a sudden they have one more chance to take the field. And they might just be standing on the sidelines hoping that in the fourth quarter, whether they're getting blown out or they're blowing out another team, or the coach just says, you know what, you spent 5 years here, you've busted your ass, you get to get in for a couple of snaps. And now mom and dad are looking there going, hey, their dream has been lived. They went and they played for Notre Dame. They got a chance to get on the field, and they're going to go through the rest of their life with a couple of memories of playing for Notre Dame. Those players won't get that opportunity. And how about this novel idea? And I kind of alluded to it there. How about those guys that they're not making huge NIL dollars, right, and are playing because the novel idea is they love the game of football and they love their school. Now, there may not be as many of those guys around because a lot of guys are just simply, I'm in it for the money. Mm-hmm. But on the flip side, you are now being paid to play the game of football. And you're telling me you're going to opt out of playing a game? Freshmen, underclassmen. How about you go tell your captains, think about this. Now, you may not be back, but, and some of those other players may not be back, but we are going to play football next year. Do we want to try and avoid this? We all know that if we're just in the top 10, or top 12, we get a seat at the table. So how about we go out for 15 practices and make those freshmen better? All those young offensive linemen that we talked about, maybe we get a chance to get a little bit better. So if we open up week 1 against a team like Miami, we don't lose that game. We don't put ourselves in the same position we're in this year because we lost a couple of games at the beginning of the year we shouldn't have lost. Or if we play Miami midseason, we want to make sure that we're operating at full capacity throughout the course of the season so that we are a top 12 team. We want to win a national title. This is our first opportunity to go out there and get better. Freshmen get better. Underclassmen get better. Anybody that's going to be on the roster next year has a chance to get better. Do we think Jeremiah Love is going to play in this game? No. He might win the Heisman this weekend. Maybe not, but he might. There's a lot of guys that won't play. There's a lot of guys across the country that won't play. But if you have a chance, if you are going to be in the NFL, but you're maybe a 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th round guy, maybe you're an undrafted, if you want to move up around, this is another opportunity for you to go out there and showcase to NFL agents that you can be that player that they need on their roster. And for the captains, for the team, for those with the biggest voice, to influence the coach and the coach not having the set of balls that he needs to absolutely say no, or their athletic director to say, no, I'm sorry, this is the wrong decision. We need to get better as a program. Where is the leadership? The NCAA doesn't want to lose another lawsuit, so they're not going to take on anything. Players say what they want, they get it all. And this is on the heels of a national signing day where coaches and everybody wakes up and it's, hey, we got a phone call from our number 1 recruit. He says he's being offered $200,000 more from another university, even though he made a commitment. We made a commitment to you, and I know commitments don't matter at all in college football. Either way, it is absolutely disgusting. Bowls will be vanished. We will go to a 24-team college football playoff, and it's going to be the absolute elite, and maybe we offer a seat at the table to Tulane or to some other schools because, hey, we want to make sure it's inclusive and everybody's involved and you can get your chance to get blown out on a national stage. But where is the leadership from coaches to administrators to the NCAA? It is okay to say no. It is okay to stand for something, or else your old saying, you're going to fall for everything. And this is college football. It is deteriorating. It is awful.
This is normally where I jump in and call you a dinosaur. I'm not going to do that. This is a big turnoff for you and for a lot of people who watch college football, who love and care about college football. John, the most players that have ever been drafted from one team, 15 from Georgia. Mm-hmm. How many people are on a college football roster? 85, 100 in some
105.
cases? Yeah, okay. Take 15, take another 10 for transfers. you still got more than enough guys who are program guys who can use the practices and the game to jumpstart next year. The schools themselves also get money for playing in these bowl games. I know money is what drives everything. The idea that we would let a handful of players, because it's not going to be 20 guys, the idea that we'd let a handful of players hold the entire program hostage and not play the bowl game. And I'm not going to make it something it's not. They are exhibition games. But at the same time, there is something to be said for using that time to better yourself and your program. And Notre Dame is not interested. They're not the only one. This is becoming an issue. 248-539-9797. What is your biggest turnoff? I know a lot of people are going to relate to what you're saying, John. It's 97.1.